Join Mark Lewis and R.O.A. for an exclusive interview with Brett Hestla from Dark New Day. Real rock and roll news. From the legends of rock, you found rockonamerica.live. We're bringing rock and roll to America and beyond. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe.
In the swirl of rock and roll emerges a name, Brett Adam Hestla, a beacon of American music. Late 1990s, Hestla's band, Virgos Merlot, inked a deal with Atlantic Records, their first release, Signs of a Vacant Soul, echoing across the industry. When Creed's bassist Brian Marshall exited, Hestla stepped in, touring the nation. Creed's disbandment in 2004 marked a new chapter for Hestla, a pivot to record production. In Orlando, Florida, he formed Silent Majority, an independent label, collaborating with bands like the Supervillains and Framing Hanley. 2005 saw Hestla take the mic as lead vocalist for Dark New Day. Their debut, 12 Year Silence, captivated audiences, with the single Brother climbing to number 7 on the US mainstream rock charts. Stay tuned for an exclusive interview with Brett Hestla from Dark New Day with Mark Lewis and R.O.A.
Hi, this is Mark with R.O.A.M. Today, I have the absolute pleasure of interviewing a gentleman with a group that we'll call them the All-Star Team, because that's really what they are. It's a conglomeration of gentlemen from different bands, and we'll go into that here in a couple minutes. Without further ado, Brett Hestla from Dark New Day. How are you doing, Brett?
I'm doing great, Dan. How are you?
I am doing good. First of all, I want to throw a big thank you to Amanda Kagan for setting this up. I mean, and I've worked with her for a while, and I want to preface this too. Everybody I've dealt with in the industry has been absolutely wonderful, including Amanda. So, Amanda, if you're listening, hello and thank you.
Yes, she does good work.
Yes, she does. So, let's go back to the beginning. I know you got a little bit of time schedule here, so we'll just get through this as quickly as we can. When you were growing up as a kid, what did you dig in? What did you listen to as a kid?
I had a brother that was 10 years older than me, so his record collection was kind of where I started. You know, he had, Boston and Kansas, Journey, all the 70s big rock powerhouses were constantly in play in my headphones in the bedroom, and whatever was on the radio was a big influence. But then along about, I guess, right around 81, 82, I heard Van Halen for the first time, and I'd always been a fan of the rock guitar, and I started playing when I was 6 years old. And as soon as I heard Eddie Van Halen and heard Eruption and what he was capable of on guitar, it just blew my mind, and I was kind of on a hard rock course from there on out.
Is that what made you want to do this to Eddie Van Halen?
Actually, what made me really want to perform live, because the majority of the music that was projected to me was just the music. Concerts didn't come to my town, and there wasn't a big live music scene, and my parents weren't big, concert goers, so it was MTV and watching U2 do Sunday Bloody Sunday at Red Rocks that was live on MTV. I don't know if you remember that performance.
Oh, absolutely.
Pretty hard with that.
Oh, absolutely I do. And everything at Red Rocks, so any videos that ever came out of Red Rocks, too, including John Tesh, and I've had friends that laugh about that, and I go, really go watch this performance, and I'll come back and go, that was amazing.
Yeah, him doing Sunday Bloody Sunday and walking out the catwalk with the white flag, and the crowd just seemed like they were killing each other trying to get to him, and it was just, that was one of those movements, that was one of those things to see that ignited the want and need to do that in me, so.
And let me ask this too, Brent. Let's cut straight to the chase on this. You have been in Creed, and I'm gonna let you introduce everybody else, because you guys are really kind of like an all-star, team, if you will, for where you guys come from. And you were saying a little bit earlier, you guys are still in the other projects. So tell everybody who's in the band.
Dark New Day, the original cast is, still together, thank God. We're made up of myself, and my first record deal was with a band called Virgos Merlot, and the bass player slot for Creed when they lost Brian Marshall, and I did that for a couple of years. On drums was this Will Hunt, and he was in a band called Scrape in the late 90s, and then was touring drummer for Tommy Lee, and went on from there to he did some stuff with Static X, Black Label Society, and he is now the drummer for Evanescence.
Right. Okay, and who else?
Troy was a guitar player from Double Drive. I don't know if you remember that band, but they came out in the late 90s as well.
Vaguely.
Yeah, they had a song called 1,000 Yard Stare that was just an awesome song.
Right.
And, after that is Corey Lowry, who is Clint's brother, and Corey is from, he was in a band called Stereo Mud, and also in the rap metal founder called Stuck Mojo. I mean, they were doing hip-hop metal before anyone else and had a huge following.
Oh, yeah, I remember Stuck Mojo, great band.
Yeah. And then Clint's a guitar player for Seven Dust and has done many, many cool things. That's the band.
And how did you guys all find each other and come together?
We all knew each other as teenagers, and we were all playing the Southeastern club circuit, and just, we were fans of each other's bands, and in one hangout or another hangout had all talked about doing something together, just, maybe a side project or recording a few songs together or doing something like that. And one thing led to another. We all went our separate ways and had our own business going on in different directions. And then about 2005, we started talking about doing it again, and the window of opportunity opened, and we jumped on.
Let me ask you this question, because you guys, when you guys got together, the internet was out there fairly prevalent. Years ago it would have been a lot harder. It would have been like trying to find a phone number and trying to figure out who to write the letter to. How do you guys find each other? Like through like MySpace and like emails and stuff? How did you guys?
We remained phone call friends, since we were teenagers, and I haven't gone more than a year without talking to these guys ever, really. It seems like I run into them at a show or come see them when they're in town or whatever. So we've been really good friends. So it wasn't a reconnect on an accidental level. It was something we pursued and really tried to make happen.
So what was the first conversation you can remember about? Hey, we're going to go do this. What was that like?
I got a phone call from Will, and Will called me and said, "Hey, you know what? We guess I'm up in jail the last couple of days." And I said, "Who?" And he said, "Corey and Troy." And we were wondering if you wanted to sing some stuff. And I was like, "Absolutely." So that kind of started the ball rolling. They all wound up in Atlanta at the same time and got together and started jamming. And so that's where it came from. It came from like the best possible place, the jam pad and good ideas. It wasn't forced or anything like that.
Cool. And for everybody who doesn't know, because I found out about you guys in like the last year plus through satellite radio through Octane.
Yeah.
And that's been really, really good for me because I'll tell you a little story about me really quick. That's kind of apropos to this. 3 years ago, actually 4 years ago now, when, Fear of a Dead Man and Black Tide and Burn Halo were all coming out, I had an assistant editor here in the magazine who's moved on and got in a relationship, and she moved on over to Hawaii eventually, and we were talking, and I go, there's some new bands you're going to cover, and she goes, like, who? And I go, like, Fear of a Dead Man and Burn Halo and Black Tide. I said, this is all really great. It's all this newer stuff coming out. And she's like, who? And I'm like, it's Fear of the Dead Man and Burn Halo and Black Tide. She goes, never heard of them. And I'm not listening to FM radio that much anymore, and I'm thinking it's all on satellite. It's all got to be on FM, right? And I found out satellites predating FM by like 3 to 4 months on average.
Yeah. The satellite needs to jump on cool stuff way ahead of the FM. But with Clear Channel being the way it is, they regulate so hard that it's really hard to get a song to start getting airplay on radio right now.
Yeah, so I heard about you guys about a while back, and I'm like, This is really, really good. You guys are what I would consider, like a lot of the other bands that I had mentioned, what I call the new school of rock, where it's like taking no, it's okay. Taking the old school formula of 3 verses, the chorus, the guitar solo, guitar intro, and a musical outro, and everybody's like, well, you know, I've had PR sheets, and I've had bands come up. Well, you know, we're alternative, or we're heavy alternative, or we're kind of hard rock, or we're this, and so I've mentioned that, and, you know, bands have started taking that a little bit, and it's like, well, I don't care about getting credit for it, it's just, there's no term for it, you know, like we had the hair band stuff, which is heavy metal back in the day, we had the grunge, and all that, so I think that fits, but you guys really do fit that. I mean, that's really what you guys are. There's a lot of melody in there. Vocals are great. You have great vocal style.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome, and everybody does an amazing job, and you guys all should from the projects that you're in. And, you know, so take everybody through the story of you guys from kind of the beginning to where you are at now.
Well, in 05 we got together and we started recording some demos. Corey handed the first 6 demos we did off to his current managers with JDM, who managed Disturbed, and a couple of the Outlaw Trio and a couple other bands. And they heard it, were instantly into it, and the guys at JDM took it to Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers heard it, and they were instantly into it, and it was pretty much, we had a deal on the table before we finished the record, so it was really exciting, and, you know, we jumped back in the studio, finished the record as quick as we could, and I mean, we were on tour with Chevelle 2 weeks after we got the contract signed, so everything went really fast after that, and we toured for a good couple of years, and Brother was a pretty good success at radio. Pieces did pretty well, and we set out to record record number 2. We demoed probably about 70 songs, and ended up going in with Dave Stendis to record the full length. Well, time passed, people at Warner Brothers who were in love with the band kind of, you know, they moved on to other labels and found other homes in other places, and things got a little complicated with us there, so we just kind of ended up not being able to release the record, and after, you know, several attempts at trying to get other people to buy that record off of Warner Brothers and to figure out a way to get it to happen, we just kind of started thinking, well, we have all those demos, the 70 songs that we recorded, you know, very well at my studio in Orlando and a couple other nice studios like Corey's place up in Atlanta and Rick Miata's place. And the stuff was really, really good, and we were super into it, and decided to start, you know, clean some of it up and give it a fresh mix and give it a good master. And then here we are. We put the B-sides out up on iTunes, and it wasn't very long. And then the guys at Goomba, you know, saw it popped up on the charts, and we knew Will, and we're good friends with Will. And one thing led to another, and here we are. We're putting out singles, and we're going to try to work it. And hopefully we can pull off some shows and and a nice tour to back it up. But we're, you know, right now with everybody being in Evanescence and Seven Dust and I Empire and everything that's going with me at the studio, it's pretty tricky. So.
And you were saying that you're going to have something releasing here pretty shortly. Let everybody know what that is.
Oh yeah, the album it's coming out on Goomba Music. It's called New Tradition. And it's a full length, and it releases February 28th.
And tell everybody what that comprised of.
It's the best of the 70s songs that we had recorded, you know, polished up and ready for the fans.
And do you mind going through a couple of those songs, picking 3 or 4 of them out?
Yeah, I mean, the single we're working right now is called New Tradition. It's actually the first, I guess you could call it a political song. I really don't take a side in that song. I just point out the fact that all we are really doing currently in our social and government sort of situation that we're in now is argue for right to left and never get anything done. So it's just the frustration of watching a government that I would consider to be an
turn anything on, it seems like no matter what, it's like, really, can't you guys find compromise or figure out anything? And I think it doesn't matter what political persuasion you are. I think everybody can agree with that. I think that's the biggest thing. It doesn't matter whether you like the president, you like members of Congress or not. It's looking at it going, really, this is not rocket science or brain surgery. It can't be this difficult.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. It's like, we're voting you in with all the confidence that you're able to go in and work something out, and nothing's being worked out, and it's just, it takes so long to get one simple thing to happen that it's just paralyzing the country, and no one seems to be able to do anything about it.
Yeah, it almost seems like, can I make one more note on that? Because you bring up a really good point. It almost seems like the new political game is let's just argue about everything and go home and not get anything done.
That's exactly what the song is about.
And that's what it really seems like today in political climate. I think that's probably good. I would assume that's going to do really, really well because everybody, like I said, it doesn't matter what your political platform is. I mean, I've got my own political beliefs. It used to be in this country that, at the end of the day, we could put our differences aside and do something for the American people. So I think that's great, especially with the election coming up. Maybe that'll make people think about things as they go in the voting booths, too.
Yeah, I say in the song, let's find a better way or just admit that we don't care. It's like if one or the other needs to happen. If we really don't care about the government, we really don't care if they ever get anything done or not, let's stop having elections. Yeah, let's just leave those people in there because one batch is as good as the next batch if that's going to happen. It's a poor design, the arguments. And we're at a current place in the country where every single human being on the planet could go to a place where you could vote off your phone, you could vote on your home computer, we could all have our actual vote and counted and not a representative handling that. And I don't know, I'm open for a new addition to our government, like some other form of fact checking and vote counting, because nothing seems to be fair or stay as it was when the initial count comes in anymore.
Right, and can I say one more thing on that, Brett?
Yeah.
I've interviewed different musicians, and you can tell, depending on who I talk to, there are different political persuasions, okay? Whether, you want to use terms conservative, liberal, moderate, whatever, Democrat, libertarian, other independent, Republican, whatever. And it doesn't matter who you are, everybody's basically saying the same thing. So I have a feeling that this is going to be a big, huge smash song.
Well, I think it's a catchy tune. It's a hard rocker, and it's got a nice swing to it. So hopefully I can, just at least unite the people who feel the same way and give them their, gym song or their early morning run song to kind of focus them up or whatever.
Can I ask you that? Now I'm going to pick a song out. I'm going to ask you a question, not title per se, but I find this question very, very interesting, and sometimes it's prone to laughter out of the person I'm interviewing, like the interview I did yesterday. What was the song that drove you guys the most batty that you looked at and you're like, oh God, we got to go work this again, and let's put it off on the shelf for a while. But then when you get it done, it's like, wow, this is really cool. What was that song for you guys?
It's not on our current single. It's one of the songs we recorded with Business. It was a song called Good Morning Panic.
Yeah, what was the reason about why that was so difficult?
Oh man, it's basically a Bobby Darin meets rockabilly song done by a metal band.
Oh, nice. Are you going to have that released at some point?
We're hoping to. That's the hopes that the Google release of New Tradition will help, sort of give us a backup or a financial base enough to be able to make another offer for Warner Brothers to let us use that record, because it was really good stuff. And Dave did a great job. He's broken that it didn't come out, and we're heartbroken that it didn't come out. And we're just going to keep trying. It's great music, and most of the stuff is pretty timeless, and I think would hold up 10 years from now too. So we're just going to keep fighting to have it come out, and whatever we can do about coming and playing the songs live, we're gonna keep on it. We all still love the music just as much, and never really wanted to stop. It was just it was a financial a necessity for us all to jump back into some other projects and make some money.
Right. Well, let me ask this. What was the most difficult thing out of that, though? I mean, dealing with it. What was the thing that was most frustrating? Was it creating that song? What was the thing that was the most hair-pulling, frustrating about that?
I mean, if I could play it for you, it'd be a great example. I'll send it to you sometime in email, but you don't hand it out to me.
No. I'll stay off the record.
It comes off. It starts out with like a rock, like a train shuffle. You know,
right.
And it's a real long, flowing, soft melody over that, and it explodes into a double time, furious metal chorus. So it's just like uniting the two worlds was just a challenge. And we thought, oh, what are we doing? Because it was just sort of an idea of like, what's the craziest thing we could do musically? I mean, what has somebody not put together? And when you're in a room full of incredible songwriters and riff masters and arrangers like are in my band with me, it's usually a fun challenge to write the hardest thing possible.
How many of you guys were influenced?
And it's exactly what it came out. And I had a lyric, and the lyric of the song is about, you know, finding out that my wife was having really bad heart palpitations, was on her way to the hospital. The song is called Good Morning Panic, and it talks about waking up to that kind of news and thinking about how it could affect my kids and my life and everything that was going on. And I wanted the mood of the song to be as feverish and as crazy as it felt to find that out, you know. So that's what we look for.
How much were any of you guys influenced by Frank Zappa?
I'm not a giant Frank Zappa fan. I've been a casual listener for a long time. I know that Troy is a big Frank Zappa fan. He's definitely into that.
Because Zappa would have done that. You know that if Zappa's alive and Zappa's in the studio, it's like, yes, this is great, let's do this. Because Zappa always did stuff like that.
That's exactly what I like about Frank Zappa, is that he is willing to write those songs that no one else would even attempt to write or try to make things work that should be together, you know. That's what's really cool about it.
Yeah, and let's do two more. Pick two songs that you guys hope really reach out to people, and, you know, maybe the meaning of it or the melody and the music in it. Two more songs, just two more that you guys really are going to hope and reach deep into the soul of the fans.
Well, there's a song about, I don't know if you have kids or have nephews or nieces or anything like that, but after having my son, I wrote a song called Breakdown that's about watching him grow up and watching the dependency of the child grow less and less, and watching them and witnessing them needing you less and less, and that's sort of like it's watching the child grow up, but there's also a sad part, you know, that the baby is gone and that the toddler is gone, and those wonderful moments where they're so dependent on you and you can protect them and keep them under your wing, or they go away. And the song is about breaking down and in a moment realizing that he didn't need me so much anymore, and that I was going to have to get used to him growing up. And that I've always thought it's probably one of the best melodies I've ever written, and it was knocked out of the park by the band, in my opinion, as well. I mean, they played perfect into the perfect mood. The chord structure is amazing. It's sad. It's all right. So I definitely recommend everybody checking out that song, and especially if you got kids, you'll be able to relate to that lyric very easily, I think.
Cool. And let's pick one more. Maybe what we'll do is you can either pick another song that you guys really will hope that will delve deep into somebody, or what you guys consider is the funnest, most rocking song that you guys did that, you know, you just had. Maybe we'll do that one. Let's do that. The rocker
of the record is the opener. It's called Kiss from the Sky.
Okay.
And there was a series of National Geographic photographs that a photographer took as Katrina came in to hit New Orleans.
Yeah.
One of those Corey had used for a screensaver, and when you look at when you look at the picture, it looks like a big, giant, gray cloud arm and a fist that's just pounded into the ocean. And the way the waves are kind of shooting away from it, it looks like it made an impact. And it just looks like, you know, the hand of God coming to smash and destroy. And, you know, and that, I sort of put myself in the position of that photographer. Is like, you see that coming in, you want to go warn everybody and tell them that something horrible is happening. But if you describe the hand of God as a cloud to people, they would think you're a baddie. You know, they think you're absolutely crazy. But it was just a very inspiring picture. And we kind of went, it looked as furious as the song sounded. So that's what we went with as a lyrical content. And the metaphorical comparisons for that song are just, you know, knowing things are going wrong in society and knowing things are going poorly and that we're heading for disaster and not being able to convince everyone else around you of that is a frustrating and infuriating thing to be a part of.
Oh, yeah. Do I have time for two more quick ones and we'll wrap up? Is that cool?
Sure, man. Sure.
Okay. Well, first of all, before we do that, when can everybody look for the album to release? And go ahead and give the name of the album again. And I know it's on Goomba Records.
It's on Goomba Records. It's called New Tradition. It comes out February 28th.
Okay, and everybody can get it in the record stores if they have a record store.
I'm pretty sure they're going to be in Best Buy. I'm not sure about everywhere else. And I know that you can get it on Amazon, iTunes, and any other digital outlet. So, yeah, I know you can go to the Dark New Day Facebook page, throw us a like, and all the info will be on there where you can pick it up. And there's a special pre-order package right now where you can get a nice wood burn box and a cool dog tag and a shirt and some other stuff if you pre-order it online.
Nice. And what about the website? And do you guys have MySpace still? Everybody seems to have MySpace, and along with me, nobody can figure out what to do with it anymore.
Well, we haven't really updated our MySpace in quite a while, but I think it still exists. We're always communicating with fans back and forth with through the Facebook page. So
yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
A message. We'll be glad to hit you back.
Yeah, did you ever wake up one day and go, oh my God, I still got MySpace, and nobody knows what to do with that anymore?
Well, I mean, I think people still, you know, they drop their songs on it and their material on it, and they put it out and hope for the best. But I just don't think they get that much. I know it's still big for bands, but I don't think they get a lot of traffic between the general public anymore.
Yeah, and what about the regular website?
I don't think anybody's working on that at the current moment.
Okay. So, was that
the Facebook is our focus right now. If I'm wrong, I'll call you back and we'll make an addendum.
Well,
we talked about reviving the darknewday.com, but
okay, but I mean there was a darknewday.com.
Yes, there was a darknewday.com, but we've been on hiatus for a little while, and it kind of got let go. So
I'm going to assume, I'll tell you how we can make the addendum on that. I know that you guys will make the announcement on Facebook when it's back up so everybody can just stay there. What about Twitter? Do you guys tweet too, or?
I think we do have a Twitter, and we have someone like you who's developing that stuff for us, and
okay.
I'm not quite sure of our Twitter address, but I can also shoot you that back in an email. So.
Oh, no problem. Let me these are the last two really, really quick, and I'm going to let you go. First of all, when people listen to your music overall, for all of you, not just yourself, but everyone else in the band as well, Brett, what do you guys most want people to take away from? What do you most want people to take away from your music overall?
I hope it connects with them and means something to them, and I don't care what that is. That's why I've always created music and written songs, is because I want to connect, you know, and make that connection with the fans, and hopefully they get something deeper out of it than something good to nod your head to. they would never, discovered or thought about. And I don't know. I think that's the hope of every writer that maybe you can make someone aware of the situation that they weren't before.
And then the last one, I'm going to have you take us out of here. We're done. Can you hang on the phone for just 1 second?
Sure.
Okay. The last one is this before you take us out, because the take us out is just slightly different. Is there anything that you yourself or Clint or anybody else in the band has wanted to say about Dark New Day, and for whatever reason in the interview you guys have never had a chance to say that, but you want to get that across to the fans? If you have that, go ahead and let it rip.
I think you already did it by calling us the All-Star Cast, because we were dubbed as supergroup from the word go, and we felt, really humbled by that comment, and we're like, well, let us see how super we are by having a career.
Would you explain to everybody to cap that up?
I've always been kind of uncomfortable with that nod there, but I mean, it means a lot, and it's cool that people would think of us that way, but none of us really think of ourselves as a supergroup.
Would you explain to me explain to everybody what you explained to me, just to wrap that up, what supergroup means to you?
To me, supergroup is like Rolling Stones, U2, bands that have stood the test of time and have an undying fan base and will never, ever go away. Like, to me, it's just Bono and Jimmy Page and Neil Peart and, let's see, famous bass, but John Paul Jones all got together and did a band. That's a supergroup, and I don't, we were really fortunate and pretty successful with our other bands, but I don't feel like we stand up to that commentary at all.
Got you. And this is the take us out of here. At the end of this, I started this a long time ago for whatever reason. I can't even remember now. I guess I just kind of thought it was a nice way to do this, a little different from what a lot of times you get in an interview. This artist doesn't get a chance to do this. Anything that you'd like to say to anybody, and how this is usually going is a lot of times, there have been sometimes an artist that says, I like to thank my husband, my wife. I like to say I love them. I like to say I love you to my kids. A couple of people got very prophetic with words of wisdom and that type of thing. A couple other people have, a few people have given advice to new bands coming up as their parting shot. And a lot of times it's just, I'd like to say we'd like to thank the fans, or we'd like to thank this person or that person. So without further ado, and there's no right or wrong on this, any way you want to go, take us out of here.
Well, I think I owe the fans a big thank you for hanging in there through the long hiatus and the difficult road that Dark Days had to travel. And I think that's the best thing I can do in this current form. And I hope to think of anybody else who I haven't thanked already. It would definitely be my beautiful family who's been so supportive, and that's pretty much it.
And I am going to say interview